Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2 Street Coffee House. My name is John. It's not my first rodeo here. Done this for a while. We are hybrid again tonight. Camera on the ceiling in the box only sees the stage. We are a hardcore listening room. Those who are regulars know I have a hook. You go and play for me, and then you're out the door. When they are playing or I'm listening or I'm talking, we are listening. We're an all-volunteer staff. Been an all-volunteer staff for 53 years. I would say 53 years, 52 Fridays. You do the math. So tonight, we have Arielle Silver here with her associate. I'll let her introduce her to you. Most importantly, there's a mega sleepover tonight at our house, my house. I know. Well, if there's going to be 5 kids, if you want to come, yeah. Tonight, we have the amazing Emma and Ben, and they are being joined by Jackson, Quinton, and Cece. This is, they've done a sleepover at their house, but now they're at our house, so it should be crazy by the time I get home. There's flyers on the table. There's merch on the piano. I believe I'm ready. Are you ready? Take it away.
Thank you, John. There's flies on the table, there's merch on the piano. I love that. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'll tell you the story about how my associate, Arielle Silverman, and I, who are not related despite the similarity in our last names. My last name is Silver. Her last name is Silberman. But we think of ourselves as sisters or cousins or something like that, but I'll tell you that story later. It's a miracle that we met, so I think I'll just start with a song called Miracle. Ankle deep in the Pacific, I sink my feet into the foam, looking out on the horizon where the ocean touches the unknown. Hands and knees beside a tide pool, filling buckets for a mold. And while my daydreams are drifting by, you've built a castle with a moat. Ooh, I call it a miracle. You call it unpredictable odds. And maybe I'm more Sense and Sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney spinning the teacups. Faster and faster, and I'm looking out for the belt of Orion. Beyond the circle of airplanes flying, you're up on LA Stars Award show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. It seems improbable, the chances, when I think of space and time. We'd even land in the same country. You say, what a lucky roll of dice. Ooh, I call it a miracle. And maybe sense and sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney, spinning the teacups faster and faster. And I'm looking out for the belt of Orion, beyond the circle of airplanes flying. You're up on LA Stars Award Show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. You call it unpredictable odds. Sense and sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney, spinning the teacups faster and faster. And I'm looking out for the belt of Orion, beyond the circle of airplanes flying. You're up on LA Stars Award Show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. Thank you. And I want to say hi to the folks who are calling. Let them know I say hello. And I also want to say hi to the folks who are watching remotely. Hello, everybody. Hi, Mom, from Daryl. So Daryl lives nearby here. She lives in Aurora, which you might have heard of. I live in Los Angeles, which you might have heard of also for other reasons. She's actually a California girl, and she moved out here a while back and has been out here. And I'm an East Coaster, and I moved out to California some years ago. And when I was growing up, I was on the East Coast. We had 4 seasons. I think you have the same ones here, some variation thereof, right? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Cicada, apparently, which are very cool. I had never seen cicadas before. But when I moved to California, I learned about this other season called the wildfire season. And this is a song that was inspired by a particularly bad season in 2018. And I got to thinking, as some of my friends were evacuating their homes because they were in some of the burn areas or potential burn areas, I found myself thinking, first of all, what would I bring if I had to evacuate my home right now? But the other thing I found myself thinking about was that disaster and tragedy and difficult times sometimes are also values clarification moments. Right? We get really clear on what's important to pack in that bag and in that car and what you can just live without. Even those things that we thought were our vices. I can't live without my coffee, but who's packing coffee in their car when they're evacuating from a wildfire? It just doesn't happen. She might. Which is why she had to move to Illinois. But this is a song that was inspired by that question and that kind of time. It's called What Really Matters. What would you take if your world was on fire? Right in the wind on a tinder of leaves. Flames flying in like an enemy fighter. Sunrise in red, tell me what would you grieve? When you're burned down to the bedrock. When you're scraped down to the cause. When everything you thought you knew is changing. And you feel the devil fighting for your soul. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down. Down, 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 down. and tree bones and churchyard stones. When it comes down to the bedrock, when everything that you've known is shattered glass in the doorways, and you're wrestling with an angel for control. Flask of whiskey, stash of pot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down. Down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. What really matters. What really matters. Thank you. She's not bad, huh? Well, like I said, I grew up on the East Coast. I was born on the Gulf of Mexico in Florida, and my folks were New Yorkers. So even though I was a Florida baby, we lived there for a few years, and then my folks wanted to move up closer to their families, so they packed us kids up in the car and the Volvo station wagon and made our way up to New York. We moved in with my grandparents in Queens for the year while my dad looked for a job. He was an architect, and he got a job in the tallest building in the world. He worked on the 98th floor of the World Trade Center. And after the year of living with my grandparents, my folks were looking for a place for us to live. And they found this place on the side of a mountain in northwestern New Jersey, woodsy, watery, wild things growing everywhere. My dad's commute from our house, my mom got the Volvo station wagon, my dad got the Carmen Ghia, and his commute from our garage in that little putt-putt car to the Hoboken train station, on the train to the World Trade Center and the elevator up to his office was a 2-hour commute. And then he worked his day, and then he did the same thing in reverse, came back home after I went to bed. And my mom, she was a New Yorker, and she liked concrete and, steel buildings and all of the hustle and bustle of the city. And it didn't occur to me till a couple years ago that the reason we lived out there on the side of the mountain in this woodsy, watery place in northwestern New Jersey was not because of my dad's commute and not because my mom liked it, but because of the kids. And I thought, okay, you win. All those things I said you did wrong, you did this one right, and that was great. It was a really great place to live for a while. How's it sounding, by the way, out there while we're playing? Good. Well, my mom was a city girl, and she was trying to make peace with the woods. And we had a lot of wild things growing out there. Family of deer and, of course, raccoons and lots of bugs. And in the lake there were fish. And we also had wild blackberries growing out there. And my mom decided that she wanted to pick those blackberries. She wanted to make pie from scratch, so she'd go out into the woods and she'd pick the berries. And if you have ever picked blackberries, you are well acquainted with the stickers. But she wanted to make pie from scratch, so she'd go out there and she'd pick the berries and she'd come home with those stickers in her arms and the welts that grew. And she'd pick up her keys from the dining room table and jump in the Volvo station wagon and drive to ShopRite so she could get the crust. Because she was a city girl. She wasn't going to go all the way. She'd shoo me out of the kitchen. She didn't teach me to make pie. I was underfoot, but I was pretty fascinated by the whole cooking process. And of course, as a aspiring professional musician, when I was right out of college, I figured if I'm going to make my way as a musician, I better learn a skill that's actually valued. So I started working in food service. Ended up working in a pizza restaurant and a French restaurant and all kinds of things. And then I found my way to this beautiful space down 2 dirt roads in Plymouth, Massachusetts, famous for the rock. It's smaller than these tables, but nevertheless, it's famous. And I got this job working at a folk dance and music retreat, running the kitchen. It's a place called Pine Woods. It had pine trees. You probably knew that. Even if you don't know Pine Woods, you knew that. And it was there, working there, that the head chef, my first year there, taught me how to make pie from scratch, the crust as well as the filling. We'd make 25 pies at a time all summer long as the contra dancers and English country dancers and Scottish dancers and square dancers would come through. The folk singers and the early musicians, early music players. It was an idyllic place to live. I have this thing for the woods, apparently. Anyway, years and years later, when I first moved in with my sweetheart and his 2 daughters, and I became a stepmom, I said to one of my stepdaughters, "What kind of cake do you want for your birthday this year?" And she said, "Well, we have cake at my mom's house, but we know that you're a world famous pie maker, so how about we have birthday pie here?" And ever since then, we have had birthday pie. And it was in one of those early years when I was making pie in the kitchen for somebody's birthday, I found myself thinking about the things that are hard to do, but we do anyway because they're meaningful. And making pie from scratch is somehow more delicious than going down to the local grocery store, at least where I live. And there are other things that are hard to do, like parenting, step parenting, and being a teenage girl. And so this is a song called Bramble Vine. Sometimes I time my stories so I can come right in with the lyrics, but it didn't happen this time. Blackberries grew in the thicket north of our yard. In summer we'd pick 'em and come home with stickers and thorns in our arms. Some hours later, when supper was plated and served, we'd barely remember the pain for the pleasure that went into making dessert. And some kind of love is like that, sweetness buried in a thorny patch, bramble vine heat in time, form a heart from the scraps, like making pie from scratch. Well, some kind of love is like that. Someone once showed me the best way to work with the dough. Just a few presses, you crimp down the edges, then squeak the old oven door closed. Finding a balance to strike between effort and ease requires some practice, a delicate lattice. You learn it degree by degree, and some kind of love is like that. Sweetness buried in a thorny patch, bramble vine heating time for my heart from the scraps, like making pie from scratch. Well, some kind of love is like that. Some kind of love is like that. Sweetness buried in a thorny patch, bramble vine heating time for my heart from the scraps, like making pie from scratch. Well, some kind of love is like that. Thank you, thank you. She's playing a 5-string. That's a viola and a violin all in one. I have to pay her double for that. So we also, one of the things that we both adore is yoga. Anybody practice yoga here a little bit? I
have a shirt that says Potty by Claudine, so.
So I found my first yoga class about 25 years ago when I was at a music conference and wandered into a yoga class. Didn't know what it was, and I floated away afterwards. I thought that I had been like touched by the angels, and I didn't know what happened to me. But I think it's a little bit like cocaine, and I just wanted to do it again. I think it has better results than like repeated coke use, but I can't really speak directly to that one. But I can say that at the end of every yoga class, my teachers would always say, "Namaste, the light in me sees the light in you," the Sanskrit word that also means hello, goodbye, but they would mean it in this other way as well. And many years past, I became a yoga teacher. I've been teaching for a long time now myself, and I say it to my students. So I've been thinking about this word is what I'm trying to say. If you will, I've been meditating on the word for a while. And, I thought I understood what it meant. And I was often saying namaste to strangers. I'd see strangers in my classes or, passing on the street, and I would think, namaste, the light in me sees the light in you. And I realized that it is a lot easier to think that and to see that inner light when you're looking at a stranger. It's a lot easier to think it when you're looking at a stranger than when you're thinking about your ex, for example. And I realized that if I really wanted to be practicing a deeper level of yoga, I needed to apply it to everybody, not just the people I don't know, but also the people that I once knew and maybe haven't quite resolved. So this is a song about that. It's called You Were Light. Ooh, ooh, stood out in the cold, the end of an old year. A sprinkling of snow, a noisemaker below. Your face reflected gold and red. You lit your cigarette, and for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. We never saw spring, you never stopped drinking. I searched in the dark, stayed looking too long. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light, all our uncharted waters clear, all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light, all our uncharted waters clear, all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Thank you. I write about place a lot in my songs because I grew up moving around and living in so many different places. I've spent my life kind of in search for the answer to the question, where are you from? And I think that's why I write songs, and I spend a lot of time in the pre-writing of the song before I pick up my guitar, sort of situating myself in a location and trying to remember all of the sensory details of that place. I think I'm trying to hold on to it because I've lived in so many places, I can't go back to them. Some of them I can revisit a little bit. As a touring musician, I get to go back to all of my hometowns, but I can't really go into the homes. There's nobody that I know living there anymore. And so this next song is a song called River Dock at Sunset. I was thinking about this town that I lived in just in 12th grade on the Atlantic side of Florida. My folks had moved back to Florida many years before the Trade Center came down, and they were safely elsewhere at that event. But we lived in this town in 12th grade, a little town called Stuart, Florida, if anybody's familiar with that place. And there's a river that winds through the downtown area. the St. Lucie River. And extending out into the St. Lucie River is a river dock. And that was the place where in 12th grade, a lot of the kids went down there before the prom and pinned on their corsages and boutonnieres, and they were all dressed up, and their parents were with them and would take pictures of these kids, you know, just about to fly off into whatever came after high school. And I was looking at a photograph that reminded me of this town in this particular location, and I found myself thinking about my classmates who, unlike me, stayed in the town, or maybe they left for school and they came back to it. And I was thinking about these classmates who now are the parents of the kids. And so my classmates are no longer the kids pinning on the corsages. They are the parents taking pictures of their kids pinning on corsages and straightening the bow ties and the boutonnieres. And then I started thinking about my friends and how maybe some of them are having grandbabies, and maybe soon they would be going down to that river dock at sunset before the senior prom, taking pictures of their kids who are the parents of the grandkids. I thought about all the generations that this river dock has seen walk its boards. And this is a song called River Dock at Sunset. On the river dock at sunset, beneath a crayon box of sky, last moments being supervised, cameras pinned us down like butterflies. We clipped flowers onto dresses, coupled off against the chill, cusp of honeysuckle, summer evening. Every word we spoke full of meaning. On the river dock at sunset, the ones who taught us how to stand, reminiscing over rubber-soled shoes, wondering how we got to heels and hairdos, and constellations turn above the river that keeps flowing by. Time on earth keeps slipping by. There's a difference between keeping something safe and helping it to grow. On the river dock at sunset, through the lens of passing years, half between leaving and lingering, we try and learn how to love without worrying. And constellations turn above the river that keeps flowing by. Time on earth keeps slipping by. There's a difference between keeping something safe and helping it to grow. On the river dock at sunset, along the worn and weathered boards, nothing's meant to stay, but still letting go is the hardest drill. And constellations turn above the river that keeps flowing by. Time on earth keeps slipping by. There's a difference between keeping something safe and helping it to grow. Moments like the waves of the watershed on the river dock at sunset. The river dock at sunset. Thank you. So I'm playing songs tonight from my most recent 2 albums. The first one is 1,000 Tiny Torches, and it came out in June of 2020. And the songs for the album that came after that were all written in 2021. And in 2022, as the quarantine was lifting and it sort of felt safe to start gathering together, I started meeting up with my producer to make an album of the songs that I had written during the quarantine period. And we were in the studio for all of 2022. We pretty much started pre-production in January and worked throughout the rest of the year. And in 2023, spent the first half of the year mixing and mastering the record and the artwork and pressing it. It came out a few months ago. But when we were in the recording studio, recording the final vocals for the song that we just played you, for a few months at that point, my producer had been asking me, "Hey, Arielle, what's the name of this record?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was just calling it the Peacock record. It was a placeholder name. There's no mention of peacock anywhere on the record. It was just like a tarot card. I had like a tarot card-like thing that I had pulled with a peacock on it. And he was like, "What's the name of the record?" I was like, "I just don't know." But when we were recording the final vocals for that song that I just sang for you, the word at the very end of the song, when I sang the word watershed, I felt like it captured the woodsy, watery scenes in many of the songs, but also it captured that time period in which I had written the songs, that watershed moment in time. It felt like it captured everything that I wanted to say in one little word, which was so wonderful because I've never made an album with just a one-word title before, but it's kind of fun. I think I might do it again. But in any case, that was the title track of the new album. This is the first song on the new album, and keeping in mind that all the songs were written in 2021, they were energetically, I guess I can say, energetically reflective of the time, even if they weren't directly commenting on the time in which they were written. This song, however, Soft on the Shoulder is the title of it, and it was me reflecting on some of the events of 2020. It starts with a witness, a kindness, a vision, a hand held, an arm linked in mine, carving out some time to understand my crime. I try not to fear thoughts of change, sought for old flaws my heart might not want to feel, but we can never heal what we keep concealed. Love more fearless, it's a practice. I don't promise you gold, but I swear it on my soul, I'll keep trying. Were you asking me to listen? Was I talking through your turn? Was I offering kisses and band-aids insufficient to the burn? Were you marching on the front lines? Were you calling for my aid? While I stood soft on the shoulder, watching the parade. Love more fearless, it's a practice. I don't promise you gold, but I swear it on my soul, I keep trying. Were you asking me to listen? Was I talking through your turn? Was I offering kisses and band-aids insufficient to the burn? Were you marching on the front lines? Were you calling for my aid? While I stood soft on the shoulder, watching the parade. Love more fearless, it's a practice. Love more fearless, it's a practice. Who's been here before to 2A Street Coffee House? I'm guessing a few of you. So you're probably well aware of the fact that there is a panel of judges that every year, as a folk singer, you have to submit your credentials and apply for your license to be a folk singer. And they look at various things like, do you have a song about social justice? Do you play a dreadnought 6-string guitar? Did you grow up on Phil Oakes and Peter, Paul, and Mary? Who was your first concert? That kind of thing. They also look at this other part, and I'll tell you that I'm gonna have to submit my papers soon to have to apply for another year of folk singing licensure. And what they look at is, did you ask your audience to sing along? And if you did not, forget it, you're not let back into places like this, which is such a shame because they're so lovely. So if you would be so kind as to help me out with this one. And I make it easy because there's not a lot of words, not even a lot of melody. It's actually a pretty nice message to have embedded in your mind. So the words are, love more, fear less. It's a practice. It goes like this. Join in when you got it. Love more, fear less, it's a practice. 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 One more time. Love more, fear less, it's a practice. You have clearly done that before. It's so good. Thank you so much for singing. Let's see here. Okay, so the roadmap of the rest of this part of the evening is that we are going to play 2 more songs. And then we'll take a short break. And then we'll come back and we'll play some more music. How does that sound? All right? Okay. And in the second half, don't forget to remind me to tell you how we know each other, how this even happened, because I might forget. I might need your help with that. This next song, I'll also tell you that since we got 2 more songs and then we'll take that little break. During that break, of course, Miss Jennifer Ashley has some goodies back there at the bar, I think. Some chips, maybe, cookies, coffee, tea. Sorry, folks at home, you're going to have to get that stuff yourself. You know where it is. It's in the cabinet, in the kitchen. Don't look at the back of the refrigerator. You don't know what's growing back there. Stay toward the front. But you got some of the good stuff here. And also over at the piano, what was it? Flies on the table, merch on the piano. Some lovely things there, including copies of 1,000.
Flyers.
Oh,
flies.
Oh, see here? I thought he said flies on the table. Like flies in the shoe fly.
Flyers.
Oh, I thought this was a pie thing. Oh, flyers on the table, merch on. Well, the merch is still on the piano either way. I have copies of both 1,000 Tiny Torches, the album that came out in 2020, and Watershed, the new album that just came out. Watershed is my 5th album, but it's the very first one that I made on vinyl record. So for those of you who are vinyl record collectors, if you have someone in your life who loves independent artists' vinyl records, in case any of you are vinyl nerds, it's 180 gram, it's clear vinyl, it's really a beautiful thing. So that's Watershed. What'd you say?
They weigh records?
Yes. I know. My suitcase is very heavy, so please lighten the load. 1,000 Tiny Torches, the album that came out in 2020, I put that one out in CD, and the thing that's over there is not a 7-inch record. It's actually a paperback book with original artwork and lyrics and backstories and previously published essays in some literary magazines. I'm a literary writer as well. And the earrings is a collaboration with an artist that I know, and she made these earrings out of recycled guitar strings. It's pretty cool. And then there's Love More, Fear Less enamel pins. So if you want to put them on your lapel or your cap or your jean jacket, none of which anybody here is wearing. But you folks at home, well, you can't get the stuff on the piano. I have a store on my website. There you have it. Just want to be inclusive here. But what did I want to tell you? Enamel pins, Love More. The The spiral-bound notebook of everything that's over there is the most important thing, and that's where I might just pass it around to at some point in time. But if you're enjoying the music and you want to know when we're playing again together or when I'm back in the area, that's where you'll put your address, not your street address. I did that in the 90s. I sent out postcards and told people about my tour schedule. But nowadays, I use that newfangled thing called email. I talk so much I can't tell you about this song because I think it's in homage to Ricky Lee Jones. It's called Ricky Lee. A haze of smoke, wall of sound. Now I cut right through the kitchen and I sliced right through the crowd to the low-lit room in back with the cinder block shelves and the vinyl stacks. A raspberry hat, tangerine braid, and a candlelight, her fingers casting shadows on the shade, and the musky scent of clove, tobacco leaves, cool like Ricky Lee. Oh yeah, she was spinning Ricky Lee. And you could say I was a new tune seeker. You could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away. Oh, no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. But you know, whiskey bottles gotta pour. And a ship is safe in harbor, yeah, but that's not what it's for. And a record makes no sound unless that turntable is turning round and round. You could say I was a new tune seeker. You could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away. Oh, no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. Here we go. Seeker, you could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away. Oh, no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. I won't say if I backed away. Oh, no, no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. She was a new groove preaching girl, but I ain't never gonna say. That's pretty smoking. Last night we played a house concert at Daryl's house, and her husband is a stellar musician as well. Also a viola and violin player, and so in this song we invited him up, and it was like dueling violins. And I just got this picture of them arguing. I don't know if this actually ever happens in their house. I've been staying with them for the last week, and I have not witnessed this, but I'm hoping maybe they'll have an argument in the next couple of days. I'm just very curious. Do they just not say anything and they pull out their fiddles and like... And then you get like when they make up, it's all like sweet harmony, but then when they're angry, it's like the most dissonant. Make some bad noises on there. Like, give us an argument. And then like, what's like...
It's just
Will you guys argue for me just so I can see?
Oh. You must have your plugs in.
for this song. Speaking of arguments, this is not an argument song. This is a love song. There's a wonderful contemporary British writer by the name of Jeanette Winterson. We played a gig a couple days ago at a bookstore, and I told all my stories from the literary perspective. I talked about all the literary references and the books that influenced the songs, etc. And this song, I shared the fact that it was inspired by a line from a Jeanette Winterson book. The book is called Gut Symmetries, and the line is, "I would love you as a dog loves chase, or I would not love you at all." And before she gets to that line, she talks about how she doesn't want to have a relationship with this love, this person that she's pining about. She doesn't want to have an FBI type of relationship, like where were you, who were you with, She doesn't want to have a relationship with the banker. May I please have some money, and that kind of thing. She just wanted to love you as a dog loves chase, wholly, fully embodied, or I would not love you at all. That was the line that influenced the writing of the song, and it's about the day that I met my sweetheart. But I want to fast forward to the bookstore gig that we played the other night. At the end of the gig, the owner of the bookstore gave me a first edition signed copy of one of Jeanette Winterson's books. I thought, I've never gotten paid that way for a gig before. This is really lovely. First edition signed copies of one of my favorite writers? Yes, thank you. That was wonderful. This is a song called Worth Waiting For, and for the folks who are vinyl lovers, this is the first song on the B side, second side. So we're gonna end on a B side. You stepped out in silhouette, barefoot, glowing, sounding out my name. Laughter and chatter, a splash, a poolside band began to play. What can I say? Baby, you're not a fallback, rebound, distraction, no flash in the pan. Baby, you're not a trinket, a trophy, a token to show on my hand. You are everything worth waiting for. Underneath the canopy of branches, shadows dappled light of sun. It's gonna take my whole life to show you you are the one. You are the one. And baby, you're not a fallback, rebound, distraction, no flash in the pan. And baby, you're not a trinket, a trophy, a token to show on my hand. You are not the bottom of a bottle, a charm bracelet, bauble tangled with stars, and a horse. You are not a sweet drink, a Ferris wheel flame. You are everything. You are everything. And baby, you're not a fallback, a rebound, distraction, no flash in the pan. And baby, you're not a trinket, a trophy, a token You are everything. You are everything worth waiting for. Thank you so much. Hi, John.
So, I believe we're ready for a break. Are we ready for a break? Washrooms are out the door to your left. I never start the second set when A, there's a line for the washroom, or more importantly, there's people buying merch. So, yeah. And just to let you know, there are flyers on the tables. Merch on the piano. We got cicadas if you'd like.
We could put a cicada on every table, and that way she can.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a short break and we'll be back.
was actually given more by Black Americans than by white Americans. Whereas now we kind of think of
Hello, everyone. We're going to get started because it ain't over till it's over. I think, yeah, sure would be nice. I'm not sure I mentioned our volunteers, Joel on the sound and Jennifer behind the counter.
Yay, Joel. Yay, Jennifer.
And my name is John. Next Friday, we've got Jim Beiser, thank you. Got it right down here. And tomorrow in this room from 2 to 4 is the sing-around. You can bring your ears. You can bring a voice. You can bring an instrument or just bring yourself. 2 to 4 in this room. There's a group leader, and they have a great time. So, yeah, I think I've done all I can do here. I got people to sit down. I didn't even have to get the hook out. All right, take it away, guys.
That whole thing about the flies on the table, the flyers, reminds me when I was a little girl in Tallahassee and my New Yorker mom, I'd come home and say, "Mama, I'm tired." And she was like, "You are tired." "No, Mama, I'm so tired." "You are tired."
I thought you said fires on the table.
Oh, yeah, there's...
It's also on the table.
It's really funny. It's like a game of telephone without the telephone and without the whispering. It's just the normal ears and the normal voices. This is why communication is so hard. I mean, you wonder, like, how is it that... This is it right now. Daryl told me yesterday that I should try tuning, so that's why I'm doing it.
String players of the world, thank you. I don't have a capo.
This is what happens when you get a folk musician and an orchestral director on the stage together. She's like, "Tune it up." Oh boy, impatient. So impatient.
Thank you for reminding us, though.
Oh, so well, I learned a little bit about homeowners associations last night at the house concert. I do not own my house, and I don't think, even if I did own my house, I don't think there's any kind of homeowners association where I live in Los Angeles. I think it's just like, do what you can. You're in LA. Nobody's looking out for you. But one of the nice things about, well, what I learned about the Homeowners Association last night was that you can't put up your holiday lights too soon, and you must take them down by the time the season's over, and the season ends on a particular day. The way I found that out was because I was telling this story about my neighborhood in the Burbank area. I'm a valley girl in the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles.
All right, get the hook. Get the hook.
Oh, tell him I say hi. Oh, don't forget to tell him I say hi.
Arielle says hi. Can't talk right now.
Okay, so folks at home, you can leave your ringer on. That's okay. So bring it back.
In case I get an emergency and I gotta
Of course,
Sorry.
That's all right. We forgive you. In my neighborhood in March and April of 2020, my sweetheart and I like to bicycle around the neighborhood at night. We light up our bicycles. We have these fuzzy baskets that we made with some hot glue and wire, and we have these wonderful lights that are all around our bicycles, and they look very cool. And we think they look very cool. I don't know, but we, for many years now, we've biked around town at night. And in March and April of 2020, we were interested to see, what the town was looking like as all the restaurants and shops were closed and people had nowhere to drive. The streets were really quiet. And we were biking around the different neighborhoods near where we live, and we noticed that people were putting their holiday lights back up. They were trying to shine a light in the dark of times. And it was really heartwarming. It really was beautiful the way that people were just doing the little things that they could do to cheer up their neighbors and to bring a little whimsy and lightheartedness into a very heavy period of time. I found myself thinking about disaster and hard times, and whether they're miniature disasters of our own personal lives or national or global disasters, whatever the hard times are that we go through, it's just one of those things that we're all going to go through them, and we know that. So it got me thinking about, we could just go through hard time to hard time to hard time, and if we never learn anything from one to the next, then what's the point? It's sort of like, wow, life is it would feel like life is kind of beating you down. But if there's some lesson that you can learn from each of those times and bring it forward to the next hard time, then it's like there's a growth process there. There's an evolution. I was thinking about that as I was reading an article about an event that is supposed to happen in April of 2029. And I was thinking, well, when I wrote this song, we were still in the middle of surviving a pandemic. And I thought, well, maybe there's something I can bring from this period of time into that period of time, and this is a song about that. An asteroid is coming. I read it in a magazine. It's gonna come incredibly close. Tall as the Empire State Building, chaos on the doorstep. I tell you we should hide, stockpile jars of jelly. Clean the sleeping bag, stock up on wine. You say this could be our big chance. Hot glue and cardboard boxes. Together we can build a rocket, and we can launch a rocket to the sky. We can dig a cellar to hide in. Maybe we just strike a balance, unroll the hammock, hold each other through the panic. Maybe it's a profit with a prize. Hark the herald angels singing when the rocking of the cosmos sways us. Love will save us from asteroids and chaos. The pasta shelves are empty. There's panic on the news. I'm crying in the front yard, thinking about everything we'll lose. I hear music from the house. You swing the windows open wide, raise two crystal glasses. Say today you're pouring the good wine. You say if this is our last dance, then let's not waste a minute. If I get one wish, baby, you're in. And we can launch a rocket to the sky. We can dig a cellar to hide in. Maybe we just strike a balance, unroll the hammock, hold each other through the panic. Maybe it's a profit with a prize. Hark the herald angels singing when the rocking of the cosmos sways us. Love will save us from asteroids and chaos. And while we're alone together, I know what might make us feel better. And while we're alone together, I know what might make us feel better. We can launch a rocket to the sky. We can dig a cellar to hide in. Maybe we just strike a balance, unroll the hammock, hold each other through the panic. Maybe it's a profit with a prize. Hark the herald angels singing when the rocket of the cosmos sways us. Love will save us from asteroids and chaos. Asteroids and So I know some of you saw that when I tried to put my pick up there, it dropped. And then I think some of you saw that I had an extra pick up there so that it was not a big disaster that the first one, a couple of you caught that, right? And that is a great example of how disaster prepares you for the next disaster. And so you can like be a little more prepared the second time around, right?
Not your
That
first
was like,
rodeo.
not my first rodeo. Okay, so you want to know, how do we know each other? First of all, I want to say hi to Lenny, who is watching on the live stream. Hi, Lenny.
Hey, Mom.
And also, I want to say hi to Charlie. Charlie Silvestri has a great podcast. He's based in New Jersey, and I've been a guest on his podcast, Up Close and Acoustic, a few times. And he is, I want to say, one of the, if not the best interviewers I've ever experienced. He is a fantastic interviewer. So Charlie, thank you for tuning in, and for those listening, and for you all here, Up Close and Acoustic, if you can find that podcast. It's wonderful. He does a deep dive into the artist's catalog. He really studies the music, and then has a really great conversation with artists of a whole lot of different genres, from folk to prog rock to, who knows what else. But and then, in terms of like meeting other people, the story about us, Daryl Silberman and Arielle Silver first crossed paths 14 years ago.
That's what Facebook told me.
That's what Facebook told her yesterday, right?
Yep.
We first played together on this stage a year and a half ago. Thank you, Joel and Jennifer, for having us back then and having us back now. We're really glad to be here. I don't know. Words. There's so many words. But the way that we met 14 years ago was that Daryl is very famous in Los Angeles. She was, in the 90s in Los Angeles, she was in kind of a cult acoustic folk band with my sweetheart. And so when Darby and I started dating, about a year into our relationship, the band, which had long since broken up, they were having a 10-year reunion show or something like that.
20, probably.
Or 20, something like that. And that was the day that Daryl and I first met. It was a beautiful outdoor house concert in south of Los Angeles. And we were like, oh yeah, we're sisters. Our last names are almost alike. And, there was just that synergy there. But now, when I'm in LA and I tell people, oh, I'm going out to the Midwest for my Midwest tour, and I'm going to be touring with Daryl on violin, I can't tell you how many people say to me, oh, Daryl, she played on my first record, or, oh, like, so many people there's like such a history. It's super, super cool. I got to get her to California so we can do this there, but this is like a magical, only in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Illinois, Wisconsin area kind of thing for the moment. But we've done a couple tours together now, so it's really fun. So this next song, speaking of travels, this next song is a song about journeys not taken. The title comes from an essay by the writer Cheryl Strayed, if any of you are fans of hers. It's called Ghost Ships. We talked forever about a blue house in a magazine, the orange flames of maple trees in fall. We'd fix the cellar, piano in the living room, a bookcase and curtains in the hall. I made a scrapbook in my mind of future times. Ooh, sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Maybe winter, digging out from snow, the last nor'easter froze us to the core. Or maybe youth, we hadn't lived enough to see the way that love can leave you wanting more. By summer we were through. House of blue. Ooh, sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Unlived lives on ghost ships, still afloat on ghost ships, lives we'll never live. Now and then I hear some news of you. It looks like somehow we both made it to the other coast. Do you believe in ghosts? Sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Do you believe in ghosts? Thank you.
That video.
Oh yeah, okay.
Go
So,
see that video.
I made a music video for a couple of the songs on Watershed. There were 3 videos, actually 3 official videos. The first one that came out is for that song Bramble Vine, and if you want to see how I make pie, it's all about I'm making a pie throughout the entire video. The second video I think that came out, I think it was in this order. The second video was for that song Ricky Lee. And for that, I collaborated with my friend who's a dancer. She's a professional dancer in Los Angeles, and she's been in a lot of music videos and various things. And I didn't think she'd say yes, and I called her up. I was like, Nicole, is there any chance you would dance in my video? And your husband would shoot it, because he's an award-winning cinematographer. And she was like, yes, we would love to collaborate with you. So we shot this amazing video in his studio and also along the beach in Malibu. So that's for Ricky Lee. A really fun video, and you can see Nicole dancing. She and I go way back. We did our first yoga teacher training together, and lots of history there, so it's a really special video for me. And then the third video that came out is actually, it took months and months and months to make this video. It is a stop-motion animated video, not computer-generated, all by hand. We made a paper world for this song, Ghost Ships, and it has an origami goat. Words, man. Just words.
Origami goat in the middle of a ghost.
It's like Mad Libs. Just insert whatever word makes sense or doesn't make sense. Origami boat. There we go.
There it is.
Which is sort of the protagonist of the song. And although the song was written first, actually there was a story that I wrote first. And from that story, I decided to then write a song kind of based on this story. And then I had this idea for the stop motion animated video, and I worked with this filmmaker, and now it's this whole other thing. And I don't really think of it as a music video for the song. I think of it as the song is the soundtrack to a short film. And it's so artfully done. It's really beautiful. He shot some of the footage at my house, and you'll see when you watch the video, like the clock above the fireplace and this, that, and the other thing. And after he left my house, he went back home and he texted me, and the filmmaker, he texted me and he said, your cat was so cute. I wish that I had shot some footage of your cat. And can you shoot something? I was like, what do you mean, like with my iPhone? And he was like, yeah, just with your iPhone, just catch her jumping up onto something. So I caught her jumping up onto the bed. There goes another pic. I have a whole box. No, Daryl, it's okay, really. gravity is super strong over here. So you folks at home, you stay there. It's safer. So I shot my cat jumping up onto the bed, but he transformed in. So when you watch the video, you'll see Meow Meow. That was her name. She died a couple of months ago, just after the video came out. And so it's her leaping up onto the piano bench in the film. So she's famous now. This is a song about a dream that I had the night before I told my ex-husband that I was leaving him. And it was from this dream, really. So if anybody has been through a divorce or a big breakup, and it's like perhaps you had the same experience as I did, which is that it took a long time for the truth to emerge, and then all of a sudden it just seemed to be, oh yes, there's the clarity I've been looking for all this time. And so this is a song about that. It's called Clipped Wings. Give me a little sip of water first. 2, 3, 4. I was in 2 places at one time, fast asleep beside you, also locked and crying in an attic on the darkest night. Not a silhouette in sight. Couldn't see a simple shape beyond my outstretched arms, a prison of imagined bars. All alone, I cried for help, calling out for someone else. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me, like a mystic message prophesized. Dawn broke and I saw clearly what it signified. The key was in my hold and I was all alone. I cried for help, calling out for someone else. All alone, I cried for help, but only I could save myself. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me, the darkest night taught me to see. In that moment I was set free. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me, the darkest night taught me to see. In that moment I was set free. Thank you. So this is the roadmap for the rest of the set. I'm going to play this next one solo. This is the next couple songs are from 1,000 Tiny Torches. These are, have a seat right there. Mood-wise, I guess it's going to come down a little bit. And then we're going to play a joyous song at the end. So just stick with me about these next 2 songs here. If you were the woman that you wanted to be, you'll be knee-deep in dirt, combing layers of earth. You'll be digging down through the centuries, making stories out of broken pottery. But you settled down and married young. Now you're looking in the mirror at the woman you've become. And what do you do with someone else's dream, someone else's life, someone's heart back in someone else's dream? If If you were the woman that you wanted to be, you'll be skidding out the lane before the screen door hits the frame. You'll be steering straight to lands you never knew, buried temples and gods shaking off your facade. But what kind of woman breaks a decent home? And how do you know if you can make it on your own? What do you do with someone else's dream, someone else's life, someone's hurt? And what can you say when you are caught between who you are and who you thought you'd be? Why do you show the pieces of yourself under the rug? What do you do with someone else's dream, someone else's life, someone's heart? What can you say when you are caught between who you are and who you thought you'd be, and back in someone else's dream, back in someone else's dream, back in someone else's dream. Thank you. I had a big disappointment earlier this week, and I was talking with a friend of mine, and she said, Arielle, after you're finished feeling all your feelings, something good is going to come of this. And she wasn't telling me to rush through feeling it. She really honors all the feelings, but she was just giving me some hope that after I finished feeling all the feelings, there was going to be something good that came later. I just wanted to mention that because of the feeling all the feelings part. I do feel like in songwriting and visual arts and dance and theater and all of that artistic, expressive stuff that we humans are somehow able to create. It is not only what allows the creator to feel the feelings so that they can then look at them and get them outside of themselves so that it can, not be carried inside, but it also allows all of us who are witness to the theater and the dance and the art, all of that stuff. It allows us to be able to kind of look at that as well, and somehow it pulls something from inside us out so that we don't have to carry it inside us all the time. This is a song called Only Forever, and I want to dedicate it tonight. I don't know if he's watching, but my stepdad lost his daughter. He had twin daughters, and he lost one of them a while back now, and today's the anniversary of that loss. And this is a song about that kind of loss. It's called Only Forever. I waited for you. I waited for you a long time. Stood outside the schoolyard, swings twisting in the wind. I prayed for you. I prayed for you a long time, to chase you in the park, try to catch you in a sprint. And things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. how I'll love you only forever. You came to me, you grew up tall and gangly. I taught you how to swim, I taught you everything I know. But maybe God was lonely, or fate knew all along I'd protect you with my life. But Lord knows I'm not that strong, and things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender, and how I'll love you only forever. They say wounds yield a purpose, and cracks bring the light. All I know is stone on the earth, angel in the sky. Things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender, and how I'll love you only forever. I promise you, we take it up. This is a song for those times that are dark and you can't see too far down the road. And you could just turn your headlights on and you get home all the way just by following the headlights. I drove home past the old town park, 5 miles slow on twisting roads. Every time I hit a bend, it looked like the road would end. I gripped the wheel and took my time. Felt like the night would last forever. I waited 18 years to leave, but now I wish the time would freeze. I thought, I don't know how this growing up goes, so I followed the headlights, followed the headlights, and the dots on the broken line all the way home. Came back with a broken heart. I made it home for the school reunion. I took a smoke in the back lot, thinking of everything I'm not. Blowing smoke rings to the stars. These years, they went so fast now. Wish we could live life in reverse, get a chance to rehearse. But all you know is where you've been. So you follow the headlights, follow the headlights, and the dots of a broken line all the way home. Life's not flat, living doesn't unfold like a road map. So you follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of the broken line all the way home. Follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of the broken line all the way. I gotta tell you something. Which is that last summer, Daryl and I were on the road together, and we played a show for 400 middle schoolers. Nothing more intimidating than 800 middle school eyeballs staring back at you. It's like we are definitely outnumbered here. But we got to this song, and they started clapping on the beat. And it was 400 middle school musicians, and so I wondered, what do middle school musicians do? Do they clap on the 2 and the 4, or the 1 and the 3? And what I've discovered was this. They clap on the 1, 2, 3, 4. They go like boom, 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 boom. Channel your inner middle schooler right here, right now. Boom, boom, boom. And let's let Daryl show off a little bit. Do this all night long. Follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of a broken line all the way home. Follow the headlights. We are so happy to have come back to 2A Street Coffee House. Thank you all for being here, for listening to us. Thank you, Joel and Jennifer Ashley, for having us back. And John for being the host with the most. Thank you to all the flies on the table and also the flyers. If you haven't been yet signed the mailing list, please do so we can keep in touch. We'll bring it home right now. Follow the headlights. Wait, what happened to the clapping? Follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of a broken line all the way home. Thank you so much.
Wow, another wonderful night in the coffee house.
Thank you.
Thank you all for clapping. Thank you, cicadas, that they stayed outside. Here it comes. Everybody know what I'm going to say, right? All the regulars. No one gets out of the coffee house without an encore. Do just by chance. Might you just be having one more?
I think we can pull one off.
Oh, good. Otherwise, I look kind of silly. All right, take it away, ladies.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, John. I want to also, before we play the song, just say, wow, what a thing. Oh, didn't I say I wasn't going to say the word thing? Shoot. What a feat. How long is this coffee house? 53 years of Fridays. 53 years of Fridays. All the musicians that have played here, all the volunteers that have helped run this place for all those years, all the audience members, I'm really grateful to be part of this tradition of troubadours, singer-songwriters crossing the country that end up here to get the opportunity to play. So thank you so much for keeping it alive. We'll play this song to close out the night. It's called Bottle Up Tonight. One part alabaster moon, one part rustling old raccoon, one part whispers of a breeze, one part heady jasmine bloom, one part lonely nightbird tune, one part two heartbeats. Might we make an apothecary potion, or bottle it like Napa wine? Might we capture all we left unspoken? Cork it up for future delight. Whatever time my hate holds, whatever fate unfolds, forget all that we can't control. But let's bottle up tonight. Spotlight of a street lamp, beam shadows dancing in between, familiar as an old refrain. All stories of the past, the future ones that come too fast, off the edges of the frame. Might we make an apothecary potion, or bottle it like Napa wine? Might we capture all we left unspoken? Cork it up for future delight. Whatever time my heat holds, whatever fate unfolds, forget all that we can't control. Whatever time might hold, whatever fate unfolds, forget all that we can't control. But let's bottle up tonight. Thank you so much, Daryl Silverman. I am Arielle Silver. Thank you so much for being here to a Street Coffee House tonight. Really appreciate it.